Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. I have been having all kinds of problems uploading videos. That's why you haven't seen any in a couple of days. For some reason, my camera uploads them and, they're several kilobytes, might even be several megabytes, I don't know. But somehow when they get up to the desktop on my computer, they're 3 gigabytes and it crashes everything. I have to figure out what's going on with my video. Remember, I'm a keyboard curmudgeon, a video newbie. That's why you get really bad video here at Dr. Jet Laboratory. That's part of our shtick here. Anyway, I'm going to try to remember some of the important facts that I talked about. So, this guy has a decal, has a simulated windscreen on the can of pee, and it's ready to get clear paint and reassembly. The N-2 challenge. Let's talk about the N-2 challenge. The question has come up. Well, I can't set buoys for whatever reason. And then let's talk about my buddy Brian Buas. Now, I met Brian back in when would that have been? The 1990s sometime. And he was flying pylon racers. Now, Brian is one of these meticulous builders that would put Germans to shame. And so he had some really killer pylon racers. These things would do 180 miles an hour, and this was, back in the 1990s. Anyway, here's the way pylon racing worked. You would have 2 pylons, yay far apart, and the pilots stood between them, and typically there would be like 3, maybe 4 pilots at the most. And they'd be standing between these, and these would be, 50 meters apart or something like that. I don't remember the dimensions. And then way down here, way the heck down here, would be a single pylon and a line of guys with colored flags. And each colored flag would get an airplane, and the pilots, since they're standing between these pylons, can see the airplanes passing the pylon and see if there's any cuts. Down at this end, how it worked was as the airplane crossed the plane created by this pylon, they would drop the colored flag, and a caller standing next to the pilot would say, "Now," and he'd turn. In reality, the pilot just got into a rhythm, and it was like, 1, 2, 3, turn, 1, 2, 3, turn. You'd get your timing down to where there was a guy named Robert Wimmer. And I think this was in the 2000 World Championships. And he was a German pylon pilot. This guy was a freaking machine. He was not a human being. He was a machine. His flight was perfect. It stayed at 10.00 feet altitude the entire time, going 180 miles an hour around these pylons and missing each pylon by several millimeters. This guy was amazing to watch. He's since burned out and went off to do something else, but he was one of the most skilled pylon racer pilots I've ever seen, Robert Wimmer. Anyway, so using that idea of guys with flags and the 2S challenge. If the driver stood here and had an eyeball at, okay, there's the pylon or the pylon, the buoy in the water, just make a mental picture of a buoy, and then you got a flagger down here 100 feet away that'll drop a flag when you, or an arm, when you reach the 100-foot point. I'll accept that. I mean, that's close enough. I mean, we're not racing for world APBA championships, This is a Dr. Jet challenge. Okay, so there you go. That, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, the N-2 challenge. The N-2 challenge. Let's talk about that for a second. Any boat, as long as it's not a rigger, I will make one exception to that. If you build a scale model of the Winston Eagle hydro or the rigger hydroplane, God, when was that? It was like 95 or 97, I don't remember. But there was the Winston Eagle that was technically a rigger. If you build a scale model of that, I'll accept that. I won't call that a rigger. A rigger is going to have 2 carbon fiber booms. The Winston Eagle actually had a wing. Anyway, there it is, the 2S challenge. I think I'm going to let you guys just have any battery you want. I'm just going to limit it to 2S. It can be 2S 12P pulling 1,000 amps. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.